welcome to Brooklyn Center High School. The football playoffs begin tonight. It's the Section 4 4A quarterfinals. Number 5 seed St. Paul Como Park against the number 4 seed, the Brooklyn Center Centaurs. Hi, I'm Jay Wilcox along with Ryan Iverson. And Ryan, these teams fairly similar resumes coming in. BC's at 5-3, Como Park at 3-5, and it's kind of one of those 4 or 5 matchups that you say, you know what, if we play well, we've got a decent shot to win this one.
Well, and that's what you love. You love the parity, and you love that it comes down to execution and a play here, a play there, taking care of the football, penalties, and just, who can make a big play in the offense. That's what this game's going to come down to tonight.
Como Park started out 0-3, but then 3-2 down the stretch, and they've done some things well. They're looking for this game to be more of a grinded-out game. They feel like Brooklyn Center probably has the speed edge. The Centaurs hoping to use that to their advantage and maybe pop a big play here and there.
Yeah, and St. Paul Como Park, they have a good offensive line. They're physical. You look at their offensive numbers, not a lot of yards, not a lot of points, but they can grind out drives. And the thing is, Jay, when you're methodical like that, you have to have a lot of things go your way. Brooklyn Center on the flip side, very athletic, very explosive. We're going to talk about a great running back, but they have the ability to put up points in a hurry, too.
Yeah, we figure the ground game is going to be pretty important for both teams here tonight, and so our key players kind of indicate that, starting with the Cougars from Como Park, and Santos Aguirre has had a pretty good year for them, and they'd like to be able to control the clock and just kind of stack up first downs, and he'll be the primary guy getting the rock.
Yeah, and he's a physical runner. He's got good speed, 4 touchdowns on the year, and that's, they're going to need to score tonight, I think, to keep up with Brooklyn Center. But, not a lot of passing, but they want to get that 3rd and short where they can just keep running the ball, pounding the football. So watching that line of scrimmage, watching their guys up front, seeing if they can get a good push, is going to be a key tonight.
And Warren Kinney for Brooklyn Center is a guy that's looking to be poised to go over 1,000 yards tonight.
Well, he's got a very good chance, just under 900 yards already, 14 touchdowns on the year. So, electric. He can almost average in 2 touchdowns per game. So they're going to need him to have a big game, and Como Park's going to have to figure a way to slow him down. Not many people have yet this year.
The top 2 seeds in this section are pretty good, Fridley and Columbia Heights. The winner of this game will take on the top seed Fridley on Saturday, but first you have to get by this one. It's Como Park and Brooklyn Center coming up next here. Playoff football on CCX. And there's my mic. I think it's up now. As we are at Brooklyn Center, Como Park and the Centaurs are getting set to battle. Joining us from the sideline tonight will be Allie Mosley.
Hey guys, welcome to playoffs. It is win or go home, and you best believe that Brooklyn Center has every intention of playing again this Saturday. Coach Williams Bearfield said it's been a solid season for his team coming into the playoffs with a record of 5-3. He said it started out a little weird because it took his team some time to adjust into what he called a regular season in comparison to last year's wonky COVID season. But overall, they've been playing really well. He said the biggest surprise has been his team's resiliency to really bounce back after some heartbreaking losses. He said in years past, his team would succumb to those hard-fought losses, whereas this year his team continues to fight. So much so, it's earned them the 4th seed in a brand new class, and they are looking forward to showcasing why they've been so successful here tonight.
Damian Perryman getting set to kick it off here for the Cougars. As Brooklyn Center will get first opportunity. A little bit of a breeze tonight, but overall pretty nice night for first night of playoff football, as it's fielded on about the 20-yard line and getting to the edge, but out of bounds, walking the tightrope a little bit there for Brooklyn Center is Taviante Powell. So Brooklyn Center will get it first. As you get a look at the playoff bracket, we said Fridley, the number 1 seed, and they've got the bye into Saturday. The winner of this game gets that one. And the rest of the lineup there with Columbia Heights, a very good number 2 seed as well. It'll be spotted on the 36-yard line. First down and 10 for the Centaurs as Deshaun Pongsak, the sophomore quarterback, a lefty, will lead the way. And see what he's done this year. They don't throw the ball a ton, but he's a good-sized young guy, 6'3" and about 200.
Yeah, and only a sophomore, too, so great to get him experience. He's only going to get better.
Toss out to Kinney. He cuts it back, and then we'll be wrapped up for a minimal gain there. As pretty good job in pursuit there by the Cougars as they got out to the edge and kind of forced him to cut back. He'll pick up maybe a yard or so.
Yeah, good team defense there, and Kinney's got great speed. If he's allowed to get to the outside, he can take it to the house. So nice job setting that edge, forcing the cutback.
Second down and 9 here for the Centaurs. Gonna go with the handoff again. Kinney spilling forward, a decent gainer there near the 45. We'll leave him with third down and short.
And you can see how slippery he is, too. I mean, there was contact right at the line of scrimmage, and he's one of those guys you can't arm tackle. You got to wrap him up, and it's going to take team tackling. He's just too good and able to kind of, really not a lot there, but still able to get 7-8 yards on it.
A young but promising offensive line is what Coach Chauncey Williams-Bearfield told us for the Centaurs. Got some guys to build around for coming seasons as well. Third down to go the handoff again, and Kinney will pick up this first down, it appears there. Wrapped up by Justin Deloach, one of the better linemen for the Cougars.
When you can see guys coming from the left side of the line of scrimmage, they're unblocked, but just too much speed. Kinney able to hit the hole before they could come down and make that tackle. And a good push forward, just barely getting that first down.
So a steady dose of Warren Kinney so far here for the Centaurs as they get the first down out to the 47 here. First possession of the night here. Brooklyn Center in black trying to get the march going. A little bit of low snap but handled. Kinney this time on the stretch to the outside. And he will pick up a nice gainer there. Might have enough for another first down before he's brought down by Gary.
And again, watch the speed here. Just beating a guy unblocked there. Able to get to the outside. Great block downfield by number 24, Romero Sikora, too. So when you got a good running back with a lot of yards, Jay, it usually means a good line, and it usually means your wide receivers are also blocking down the field. It takes a total team effort.
Sikora might be another guy that we see get his hands on the ball a fair amount tonight. He was a running back in his past part of his career too, so both those guys expect to see the ball a fair amount. Pongsak this time looking to throw, and he's going to go deep down the sideline, and that one will be incomplete. Well covered there. Yep. So he looked for Sikora, and Gabe Naparella was out there in coverage, and boy, sometimes you see steady diet of run, you can be sucked in, and to Como's credit, they did a pretty good job getting back defensively.
Yeah, good coverage there. You can see it's one-on-one on the outside, so they're going to have those opportunities, but when you can run the ball successfully, everything in the defense flows up to the line of scrimmage. They're going to have those opportunities to take the top off, and all it takes is one. You got to hit one of those, but even if you don't hit it, it softens the defense up just enough.
That was Powell, not Sikora. My mistake on the attempted pass. There's Kinney, runs into his own lineman now, cutting it back the other way, trying to get out to the edge. And Kinney, just too many bodies there as he is popped pretty good eventually by DeKedrick Johnson. It was a very long run to get basically back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, you see great footwork. Watch him elude that. And right here, he's just got so much confidence in his ability and his speed. Every time he beat one defender, it seemed like there was another one coming up. So good team defense. And that's how you have to defend a really good running back like that.
Yeah, he actually kind of did outrun the first two guys.
But he just had more reinforcements.
Yeah, one more coming from the secondary. And also a really good form tackle by Johnson there, too.
And that's what you do. You got to have your safeties and your cornerbacks come up and support the run.
So a 3rd and 10 coming now for Brooklyn Center after a couple of first downs. And this is going to be a delay of game. Yeah, they used too much time there, and so they'll be marked back 5 and bring a 3rd and 15 instead here.
Yeah, and you wonder too, Jay, with where they're at in the field, if they don't get it all here, if they can get 7 or 8, maybe 9 yards, kind of set up a 4th and manageable if you don't end up going for it with a short field like that.
And both teams kind of talked about, when you are putting together drives, that penalties can be a killer, obviously. This time it's Sikora taking the pitch. Sikora to the edge, spins forward, and like Ryan said, they get a decent chunk back. That probably is going to mean going for it as he got inside the 40 back. It's going to be spotted right on the 40, it looks like.
Yeah, and Sikora, you can see the speed he's got, and you alluded to it. He's got 461 yards rushing on the year, 3 touchdowns, so very capable running back as well.
So with a 4th down and 8, Brooklyn Center lining up to go for it here. I'm sorry, they're not. Sikora dropping back into punt formation. You're seeing substitutes and start counting. Okay, that's right. Sikora's the punter too. Left-footed boot, and he drives it away from the returner. There's a flag down. It's going to get into the end zone for a touchback. Be interesting to see what this flag is going to be. It came on the near sideline. And the flag was thrown as the ball was already in the air. So we'll see what we get for a call here.
I got to go around you because, like I said, this is me. I don't mind.
Oh, it's a sideline warning against Brooklyn Center. So there won't be any mark-off, and we could kind of hear the official telling him, I can't be having to circle around you on the sideline.
Yeah.
So
I know it's a tight sideline.
There's usually always one guy on every staff whose only job is to make sure the players are backed up. And it's tough as a player because you want to watch and see, but not easy.
So from the 21st down and 10 here for Jude Breen and the Cougars offense. Breen will hand it off at Gary, and there's Sikora coming up with a strong tackle there. Obviously at this size level of schools, you're going to see most of the guys going both ways, and Sikora showing good tackling form there as he takes a Gary off his feet after a pickup of 2.
And you can see a Gary, a big physical runner, strong. And that was just a great tackle. Sikora, not a big guy, 5'11", 180 pounds, but he kind of does everything for this team. You saw him as the punter, had a great block downfield, had a nice catch, run, can catch the ball. Also their leading tackler with 3 interceptions, 2 on the air, so kind of does everything.
There you look at Breen, a very good-sized quarterback.
Yeah, watching him in pregame, too. He's got a strong arm.
Gonna roll and a quick toss. It's complete. Centaurs Sikora trying to rake that ball free, but meanwhile they're forgetting to tackle him. As Caleb DePaul carrying Centaurs with him, and it's great to try and force turnovers, but you got to wrap up, and they didn't.
Well, you can see it. DePaul is a big guy too. He's their leading receiver on the year. Easy throw for quarterback, accurate throw. And you see that arm. Watch that arm coming in, trying to draw that ball loose. But he took about 3 or 4 Brooklyn Center defensive players on his back and just kept moving that pile forward.
That was a gain of 22,
wow.
And that's a big play for Como, and a good example there. If you can't just strip the ball, you got to wrap up, and somebody's got to get to his legs too. They were all up high on him.
Yeah, big, strong, nice target.
Back to the ground to Gary, and he's tripped up. Nice stop for the Centaurs there by Jalen Dillard Shannon. Coming up, he did a good job forcing him to cut back, but then he also got his ankles.
Yeah, it's not easy because you kind of plant and then running back cuts. Watch his arms here. He's almost coming from the ground right there. Great job getting that left arm in and tripping him up. And if he had made it, looked like he had some teammates coming to finish it off, but that was a nice play.
2nd and 10. You see, last time these teams played, it was in 2018, and Como scoring a W. Found out tonight that Chauncey Williams-Bearfield, the Centaurs head coach, is a St. Paul Como grad. This throw is going to be intercepted. It was underthrown, and it's Kinney with the pick for the Centaurs. Down the sidelines, he makes a cut, and finally going to be wrapped up at about the 15-yard line. Warren Kinney with the interception for Brooklyn Center.
Well, not only a turnover, but a great return, too, after it. He got some good blocks. I'll tell you what, they had the guy open, Jude Breen, just a little bit underthrown that time to DePaul, and a nice job by Kinney. And I don't know if we're going to be able to see it here, but there was a great block down the field. And I'll tell you, not only getting the turnover, but when you can turn it into a good return, now you have your offense in excellent field position. That was a big-time play. Well,
it's really one of the things that Coach Chauncey talked about was we need to be able to generate turnovers with our defense, and obviously they got it there. I don't think Breen wasn't hit quite as he threw, but the rush was definitely coming. There's a flag down on this play, and I think it'll be coming back here. Sikora bouncing it, and he's going to get to the end zone, but I don't think this will count. So that flag flew in the backfield right at the snap.
Usually, full start.
Illegal shift, it looked like, on BC. There is a look at Coach Chauncey Williams-Bearfield, 3rd season as head coach. He was here as an O coordinator prior to that, and as I said, just found out tonight, 2004 graduate of Como. And it was interesting, some guys, every program has some veteran guys who've been around a long time. They were out talking to him on the field, and they were kind of joking with him, said, I know you're over here now, but you're still one of us, or you're still a Cougar.
Well, you know what, it always means a little bit more when you're playing your coach's alma mater. So, he's got his guys ready to play tonight, and his team certainly knows the importance not only of a playoff game, but hey, let's do this one for coach too.
1st and 15 now for the Centaurs. Handoff goes to Sikora, looking to bounce it around, and now makes a nice cut to the outside, but a lot of pursuit there. And the Cougars just kept on coming. He made a good effort, but it's a tough thing to do if the defense is playing it right, to bounce that away so many times.
Well, that might have been the most spectacular 3-yard gain I've ever seen. We've seen a couple of those with Warren Kinney, and there is Sikora. Just great footwork and elusive, good speed, and you can tell they have confidence when they get a one-on-one that they're going to make a guy miss, and so far they have. They've been great, but good team defense too.
Deloach did a good job of staying with it, one of their bigger linemen, and ended up making that tackle. So 2nd and about 13 here for BC. Sikora in behind Pongsak. Pongsak looking to throw. Now steps out to the left and fires downfield. Let's see, is this intercepted? I think it is. Yes, it is. Touchback as Gabe Naparella able to get to the ground and maintain possession of that one. So the Cougars answer the interception with an interception of their own.
Well, both teams doing a pretty good job of stopping the run, and they're forcing both offenses to have to go to the passing game to try to make plays down the field. I think he wanted to go deep right there. It was initially covered, and Pongsak kind of held on to it, tried to force it in there, but just great coverage by Gabe there. He was great footwork, and to go down and get that ball like that too, that was a heads-up play.
Yeah, that was an impressive catch. I mean, he had to make sure he got his hands underneath it, and then his body didn't jar it out. So they'll get it at the 20 on the touchback. Also kind of fortunate for them that it was in the end zone rather than picking it off at the 1 or whatever.
Yep. Those are the kind of turnovers too. When you got a short field in the end zone, you never want to have those interceptions.
Gary getting to the edge that time. Kinney chopped him down, but not until he picked up enough for a first down. That time better blocking than on some of their previous runs, and Gary able to get to the outside and then rumble for about 11 or so on the play.
Yeah, showing his speed, and I can tell you what, as a defensive back, I would not like to see number 4 coming at you with a head of steam. He is built solid too.
Kinney going low to take his feet out from under him there, so they'll spot it on the 32, so call it a 12-yard gain. 1st down and 10 now for Como. And we're going to have a pre-snap penalty here against the Cougars. That'll be their first penalty of the night.
Well, and I think penalties, I mean, obviously they're bad for any offense, but especially for both of these teams who like to run the ball, moving back 5 yards is a big thing to them.
There's Kirby Skull, 18th season now directing the Como team, and they've faced Brooklyn Center a little bit here and there along the way, especially since we went to district football. Obviously, you're seeing a little bit more size-based matchups than geography, so Centaur's playing a few more teams from across the river since we went to the district setup. 1st and 15 now after that penalty against Como. Breen rolling right, fires, and it is complete, but DePaul ripped immediately by Sikora, who helps him up. Nice catch, nice tackle.
Yeah, and kind of the same play they ran in that first possession where DePaul had a 22-yard gain. This time, Sikora remembering that, I'm not trying to strip it, I'm going low, and that was a great form tackle.
Got the penalty yardage back, but that's about it. So we second down, and he looks like a football player,
yeah,
doesn't
he does.
Good size tight end.
Yeah, this Como Park team, I mean, they have some guys that look built, definitely.
So it'll be 2nd down and 10 after that gainer, and that followed the penalty. Back to Aguirre. Aguirre gets the edge and looks like he might have enough for the first down as Sikora brought him down. They've been able to find some room running that stretch play to the outside.
Yep, just a nice hold block there, allowing him to get to the outside. And Aguirre, again, turning the ball, going north and south much better here. Gets ahead of steam going. He finishes his runs off nicely.
Yeah, I agree with you. You know, just looking at his legs, and it's a kind of guy you want to hit before he really gets going, because once he gets coming at you, it's like, ooh, do I really want to take this on? So 1st and 10 from the 43 now for Como Park. Fake the handoff. This time Breen's going to keep it, and he'll get to the outside, and he kind of broke a tackle, but ends up sliding to his knees after a gain of about 8.
Well, great play call. They've been running that play successfully to Aguirre, and that time Breen kept it. Beautiful ball fake, and the defense definitely fooled, and wasn't quite sure if he wanted to slide maybe or keep going, but kind of an awkward looking slide, but still got a great gain on 1st down.
The football just over midfield. It'll be 2nd and about 2. 1:15 to go, 1st quarter. No score here. St. Paul Como Park in white with the black and gold, and then Brooklyn Center in the black and purple. Green's going to hand it off to Aguirre, wrapped up around the jersey there, but he's able to keep driving forward. Some pretty strong hands to hold him up just by the jersey there. And Centaurs with Ronald Washington, who's one of their more experienced and better linemen. Did not stop the first down, but he did get the stop.
Well, and the strength of Washington, if he doesn't get that hand on that jersey, that goes for a number of yards, because it looked like Aguirre was just getting his head of steam going, and all of a sudden you saw that big mitt of Washington hold on to it. Heck of a play, but picked up the first down.
Under 30 seconds to go. This could be the last play of the first quarter as Como trying to get a drive going. And as they said, we'd also like to control the ball some and keep it away from the playmakers from BC. Here's Breen rolling to the right, and that one is incomplete as he was trying to find Johnson. So the clock obviously will stop on the incompletion. We will have another play here in this quarter.
Well, I mean, we're talking a lot about Aguirre, Jay, having success, but you know, we talked about in the pregame, I mean, this offensive line is big and they are physical, and so far they're doing a nice job at just giving enough crease for Aguirre to be able to run the football successfully.
Be a 2nd down and 10 coming up for Como Park, and it's kind of that cat and mouse game. I think both teams know that they want to run the ball mainly, but you mix in the pass, maybe mix it in when the other team isn't expecting it, is what your aim is or your hope is.
And just enough to keep a defense honest.
Play action here, wanting to set up a screen, and Breaking through the tackle is a Gary. That should have been a big loss. And instead, it's going to be a gain of about 6 or 7. He showed his strength right there.
What was great about that is one of the linemen for Como Park. I think you're going to see this. He quit. He thought he was down. And you're going to see it in your screen. All of a sudden realizing, oh, this play's still going on. Big number 74, Justice Deloach, got back in and got a good block. So ended up getting a pretty good gain.
That will be the end of the first quarter on a nice play for Como. We'll change ends and start quarter 2 in a moment here at 0-0. The Cougars and the Centaurs on CCX.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Welcome back here as we have playoff football for you here on CCX Sports. Section 4 of Class 4A, St. Paul Como Park in white, Brooklyn Center in the black and purple. 0-0 heading into quarter number 2. So we've traded interceptions here. Now Como putting together a drive. They're facing a 3rd and 5 at the Brooklyn Center 45-yard line. Could very well be 4-down territory here. And they're going to use a timeout. I don't know if Como, coming out of the quarter, they didn't maybe have the alignment they wanted or all the right personnel out there. So they, rather than risk a play going bad, they elect to use that timeout.
Well, we talked, too, about how they like to sustain long drives and knowing that this is a really big down and distance here and making sure you get the right personnel, the right play called and the right formation, too. Not a bad, use of a timeout, knowing that you want to keep this drive going. You got a short field here to start the quarter.
Brooklyn Center, Coach Chauncey was telling me that, this year they're in Class 4A, which is up one from what they had been. And they have a couple of new co-ops that kind of just put them over the limit as far as size-wise. And
by one student?
Yeah,
is that right?
That's what he said. So, in a section with a couple of pretty tough teams, I think, being blunt about it, the winner of this game is going to have a pretty tall order against Fridley, but you're hoping to get this win and see what happens. Whoa, steamrolling run there as Gary was kind of searching out contact, and he found it, and he ran over a couple of guys there.
Well, you see a lot of running backs as contacts come in, they kind of stand straight up. Watch him lower his shoulder right there. I mean, that's just big-time football, big physical runner who finishes those runs. That extra push got him the first down.
Football at the Brooklyn Center 33. Best drive so far here for the Cougars. And again, with a lot of running, we're going to see probably some drives that, eat up some time, and you hope to keep the ball away. It's sort of a back and forth. Both teams want to do that a little bit.
And that's where you got to keep getting positive plays. You can't have negative plays or penalties that put you in a tough down and distance.
Here's a little reverse. Johnson breaks a tackle, breaks another, and then he is stacked up and lifted up.
Wow. I've never seen that at the finish. A guy, ball carrier, get to lift it up in the air. But nice little play call. You're feeding a Gary constantly. The defense bites for it, a little end around to Johnson. And again, pretty well defended, but just nice footwork making a couple guys miss.
Got about 5 out of it, and again, you don't see that very often. It's like he's getting ready to get carried off the field after a win or something there. Second down and 5. Handoff goes to a Gary, and he'll have the first down and more. Sikora meets him and knocks him out at about the 20.
Nice kick out block too there on the left side, kicking the defensive end out. And Gary does a nice job knowing when to cut it up the field. See right there, great kick out by number 11. I believe that was DePaul. And right now the physicality up front really taking hold here for Como Park. They got a nice drive going.
So they'll have it at the Brooklyn Center 20. Trying to see if they can't break this scoreless deadlock here early in the second quarter. And this is going to be a delay of game against the Cougars. So had one on Brooklyn Center and have one now against Como. Got Fawon Bennett coming in here for the Cougars in the backfield, and they don't get any smaller when he comes in.
Well, and again, remember too, as teams that run the football, you're not getting huge plays. That 5-yard penalty, especially on first down, can just enough to slow the momentum they have built up on this drive.
Bennett will take the handoff here, and a big gap to run through, and then he is wrestled down by Dillard Shannon. But a nice gainer there for Como. Not enough for a first down, but it'll leave him a manageable next down here.
Watch big number 75 right there, Denzel Shuna, doing a great job of blocking and holding his block down the field. As great as Gary has been, we've talked about how physical his runs are. He's got some nice holes, too, to run through.
And that time Bennett taking it and getting a good gainer. He's even bigger, I think, than Gary. That's a big dude coming at you.
Well, and if you can kind of go 1-2 with this punt, this combination, both backs stay fresh, too, and they're both physical.
Gary. Centaurs trying to wrestle that ball out. Max Stingley was hanging on. He's a freshman, Stingley, 5'11", 200-pounder.
You could tell he's a football player too. Only a ninth grader, great size. But even a play like that, you couldn't have defended it better. Gary, they hit him right at the line of scrimmage, still able to go forward for a couple of yards. It's a big play here, 3rd and 4.
And we're going to have another penalty call coming up here. This one will be against Como, so 3rd and relatively short will be not so short anymore. Mark off 5 against them.
And remember, too, they had a 5-yard delay of game on first down here, so they really done enough already for a first down, but that's where penalties can really stunt a drive. This has been a great drive, a bunch of first down conversions.
There you saw just leaning forward a little bit was Aaron Adekplovy. Good call by the official. He was definitely a half count early. So 3rd and about 9 now for the Cougars. Going to roll to the right and throw, and it's complete. Nice tackle at the end, but it's going to be Johnson down near the goal line. 1st and goal coming up for Como.
Yeah, kind of a nice passing combination there, a route combo. They had 3 receivers, one shallow, one medium, and one a little bit deeper. And first I thought he was going for the shallow route. He overthrew him, but he knew right where Johnson was. Nice catch. And a big pickup on 3rd and 9.
Good recovery to make the tackle to stop him, because you still at least got a shot to keep him out of the end zone now. But
Jay, I'm going to go on a limb here and say watch it, Gary. Right up the middle.
Seems a safe bet. Yes, indeed, he's got it, and he will walk in for the touchdown. And Como able to finish the drive. The couple penalties set him back a little bit, but then the big completion on 3rd and long sets him up for the touchdown as Gary takes it in, and the Cougars go in front here 6-0 with the extra point pending.
Oh, that was a big-time drive, and I'll tell you what, when you're on the road in a playoff game, you want to get that first score. Gives your guys a lot of confidence, especially as a 5 seed. you know, you got a point to prove here. If we can set the tone, and they certainly did, we're going to be physical. We're going to dominate the line of scrimmage. Mixed in a couple of nice pass plays, overcame some penalties, and still punched it in the end zone, going for 2 here.
Yeah, and they won last week 8-7 by completing a 2-point conversion. So let's see, they're going to try and do it again. Breen rolling to his right. He fires. It's complete for the 2-point conversion to DePaul. And good hands on that one. He had to throw that hard, and he did. And DePaul had no trouble reeling it in.
No, and tell you, there's the touchdown again. Well blocked, hardly even touched into the end zone. But that 2-point conversion, DePaul, pretty good size. He had to kind of come down. That was a great catch. Not an easy ball to catch. Yeah, watch DePaul here. I mean, he had to put some mustard on it. Good hard throw by Breen, but even a better catch. Oh, exactly what Coach Skull had hoped for, right? You're on the road, you get a great drive, you score first. Now you kind of put some pressure on Brooklyn Center. That's exactly what you want to do.
Perryman will kick off again here for the Cougars. Brooklyn Center. Kind of a slow start here. Haven't had the ball as much as they would like. They had the pass intercepted. Kinney's had a couple of nice runs, as has Sikora, but overall they just haven't had that many snaps and that many long possessions. And they keep it on the ground again here and fielded nicely at about the 30 and scooting up the sideline there for the Centaurs on that return was Jalen Dillard Shannon. Let's go down now to field level with Allie.
Guys, it has been years since we've covered a football game here without the sun shining throughout the entire game. You know, there was a lighting system failure back in 2018 that has prevented this team from being able to play night games. Any home games, much as we know, as we've covered, have been at 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. But then steps in the Thielen Foundation. Over $250,000 went into this new lighting system here, and you really have to think how much this really kind of boosted this team, right? To finally feel like a real varsity team playing under Friday night lights and not so much the sun.
Here's Sikora on the run, and that's a nice gainer. He'll have a first down. Hanging on around his ankle there was Tony Luckett, but Sikora rips off a nice gainer there to start the drive down to the 45 of Como.
And there's a look at the lights, and pretty awesome. I'll tell you, you think of high school football, you think Friday night lights, right? You think of playing at nighttime. So great for these kids to be able to experience that. And I'll tell you the other thing to think about, a guy like Sikora too, playing both ways. You got to be in such good shape, especially when you're involved in almost every play.
Here's Sikora. This one didn't go so well. Caleb DePaul breaks through and gets him for a huge loss. Maybe a loss of 10 on this play. And Sikora's quick, but he just couldn't get away. DePaul had him within arm's length, and he was strong enough to just throw him down.
Well, watch how quickly he's up the field. Almost knew exactly where that play was going. And you see the physicality of Como Park in general, but specifically Caleb DePaul. We've seen him have a couple of nice catches, that time up the field. Great tackle. And that's that loss of 10 on a play, right? It really puts you in a tough down and distance. Because now as a defense, you're anticipating pass.
Pongsack will hand it off again to Sikora, wrapped up immediately once again. This time it's Tedevi on the stop there for the Cougars. This will be a short loss again of about 2. So, boy, a promising start to the drive, and after a pretty decent kick return, but now they're going backward.
Well, just a great play by Tedevi there, just throwing his offensive lineman out of the way, and big kid, only a sophomore. It's funny how your offense scores, all of a sudden that carries over, that momentum, that energy over to defense. We've seen a couple of great plays here defensively by Como Park.
You don't have a lot of plays in your sheet that are good for 22, but they'll do their best here. As Pongsack going to look and throw down the sideline for Powell, but well covered and incomplete. And it will bring up a punting situation here for Brooklyn Center. So Como, they have to like that sequence.
No, well defended again. You know it's going to be passed, so you you're telling your defensive backs, do not get beat deep. We can always come up and make the tackle. And we've seen some pretty good coverage on the few attempts down the field for Brooklyn Center have been well covered by Como Park's defensive backs in their secondary.
Yeah, and I thought he did a nice job of being physical enough without, making it temptation to throw the flag on him.
Well, and you use the sideline too. When you're going to run on the sideline, you use that sideline as a defender, almost as your other defender.
High snap. Sikora does get to it, but it forced a rushed punt here. Let's see where they'll say this one crossed the sideline. And obviously, it's not where it lands. It's where it crosses out of bounds, and it's going to be at the 48-yard line, so that'll make it a punt of about
6
15.
yards, 7? From where he released it. Not much of a change in line of scrimmage, though.
Right.
Don't you always wonder, do they guess where that goes out of bounds?
It's not a perfect science, let's put it that way. But they're along the sideline kind of watching. Yeah, you're right. It's hard to tell. And everybody groans when they start walking upfield but I would say that was pretty close.
I'll tell you, I mean, obviously Sikora not the punt he wanted, but he did a great job just corralling that snap and getting it off.
Aguirre with a gap to run through. Aguirre straight up the middle and then thrown down. But a nice gainer into Centaur territory at the 35, pickup of 17.
Well, you look at the size up front. You got Luke Glad, number 76, number 78, John O. Just some big guys holding their blocks down the field. You see the size and the physicality, something we talked about in that pregame. I mean, there's some huge holes, Jay. I think you could have ran up through that hole.
Yeah, let's not get carried away here, no. Yeah, you're right, and it kind of feels like it's happening more. Like they're maybe wearing BC down a little bit already.
And that's one thing, too, when you do these long, sustained drives, the physicality and the size can absolutely wear a smaller defense down.
Back to Bennett, the even bigger back, and he'll have a nice gainer as well. Tripped up right around the 20-yard line, going to be about 15 more as Bennett. It's interesting. I wonder which coach looked at Bennett's body and said, hey, running back, right? Because he seems like a lineman, but.
Almost like Jerome Bettis there.
Yeah.
That time, Justin Deloach, number 74, great block. Yeah, timeout Brooklyn Center. I like the timeout, and you don't wonder adjustment-wise if they're not going to think about maybe bringing some of those safeties up to the line of scrimmage and just saying, hey, let's get 8 guys in that box. We're getting blocked. We need to bring some unblocked guys up here to help and see if we can limit some of these gains to maybe a yard or 2 as opposed to 7, 8, 9 yards.
Yeah, and the backs, at least on the more recent carries, they haven't had to make a cut until they were
5, 6 yards down the field.
Into the secondary to even think about having to do anything but run straight forward. So that's obviously not a great sign for the defense.
No.
There you see the conditions. Clear and 51. A little bit breezy. We talked about that, and it sounds like as the night goes on, it might be lessening. I don't think it's enough to make a big impact on the game, but something to note a little bit.
Yeah, and besides just bringing your safeties and maybe some of your cornerbacks up to the line of scrimmage, if you can stunt, if you can blitz and put your linemen on some twists or some crosses, things like that. You just change the blocking. Right now it seems like Como Park's in a great rhythm blocking up front.
Handoff goes to Bennett, and this time he is met. Much better job by BC as Dillard Shannon got there. He needed some help against a much bigger guy, but he did a nice job. He wasn't scared to throw his body in there.
No, let's see where he came from. You can see he's blitzing. That's exactly what you need to do, bringing that another guy in the box. You see him holding his shoulder too after making contact. That's the other thing. You beat your blocker, then your treat is you get to tackle 220 pounds of tough running back.
Yeah, and he was able to beat the tight end DePaul to that block there too. He read it well enough that he didn't hesitate, and he kind of got inside the block. So 2nd and 10, no gainer there for Como Park. This time Breen looking to throw. Swings it out to Aguirre. Aguirre avoids a tackler. Down the sideline he goes, and he's going to be in for the touchdown. Well, they crossed Brooklyn Center up a little bit. I don't think they were expecting that. The little screen to Gary. One guy had a good shot at him right at the beginning, but they were unable to get him.
Yeah, and I thought he was going to get tackled. I couldn't see who had that shot, but that was great footwork for Gary. Again, we talked about his size and physicality there, showing his footwork. That was just great job, low center of gravity, able to elude the open tackler, and then he was gone.
So the Cougars striking again here later in the second quarter, and they will go for 2 again. Fake it to Gary, and Breen will keep it. And did he get there? The ball coming loose at the end, and he was stopped short.
And it looked like he got there, didn't it? Or
I
was going to get
too,
there.
or was going to. I know.
Yeah.
I was starting to think. Here's another look at this touchdown play, and it was a nice one.
And watch right here. You're going to see, and that's where as a tackler, you got to keep that head up and know where you're going to hit. But a nice job eluding it and then just getting some speed too. Right there, just some good footwork, lateral moves, and then well blocked along the sideline too. I didn't think he was going to have space to score, but really well blocked down the field.
And then here's Breen. Let's see how close he comes to get in there. Ooh, he was really wrapped up hard. That was and then the ball came out eventually, but that part didn't really matter. But he was. It looked like he was ready to go in.
When you could see the difference between a guy like a Gary or Bennett versus Breen. You see Breen, when he was finishing that run, standing straight up, he stopped. Or if that's one of those running backs, they're finishing that run forward and getting in there, no problem.
And I think they might be giving him a hard time about it a little bit over there, as Breen was kind of laughing a little bit. I think he got racked pretty good there. And, it was, he was inside the 1 for sure. I was thinking he was about to go in. And Centaurs rise up and get the stop anyway. So it stays at 14-0, 3:53 to go here in the second.
Well, and right now you're looking to build on anything you can. If you're Brooklyn Center, we get a stop there at the 2-point conversion. Let's see if they can't get a spark going offensively.
Perryman punching this one a little deeper to about the 15 as Kinney takes it. And up the sideline, he takes a bump as he crosses the 40. So that's not a bad starting point for Brooklyn Center. They get a good return out of that, as I think Perryman in general has been trying to get the ball on the ground. That time it was Kinney able to field it and get up and go.
Yeah, Brooklyn Center needs to get a good play on first down, get some positive yards.
Yeah, they started their last drive with a nice Sikora run, but then they had a couple of tackles for loss in a row, and they were in trouble. Pongsak looking to throw, and he will swing a little screen out to Sikora. Makes a nice cut. Sikora makes another nice cut. Gets a block, and down the sideline, and Gary finally will nudge him out of bounds. But a nice play to start it out is just what you called for there, Ryan.
Yeah, great easy throw for your quarterback. Nice throw, easy catch. And I'll tell you what, Sikora has been electrifying on offense. Look at that cut right there. Just some great footwork and good speed. And he might not be that big in size, but he certainly runs hard and not afraid of contact either.
23-yard gain, first completion of the night for Brooklyn Center. So they're at the Como 35. Now all of a sudden they're fine time-wise. They can run the ball, whatever. They got 3.5 to go. They hand it off to Sikora. Sikora getting into the secondary and to the sideline, and he's driven out of bounds at about the 18-yard line. It'll be another first down for Brooklyn Center as they're turning Sikora loose here.
Yeah, interesting. We haven't seen much of Kinney in the backfield. It's been mostly Sikora since that first drive. And I'll tell you, Sikora right now, again, look at right there, pretty well defended. Watch him go through that gap. He just turned that great cut north and south in a hurry and got great speed. You've seen kind of the contrasting difference in offense too, right? The sustained drive of Como Park. Here, a couple of electric plays, and Already here threatening to score.
Sikora in there at the quarterback slot, faked the handoff, and now he is spun down. Nice stop by Deloach as Como defended that one a whole lot better. He'll pick up maybe a yard.
Yeah, and anytime you see in that Wildcat, you can kind of focus in when Sikora is back there as the quarterback that he's probably going to keep it. Nice tackle.
Can see why Deloach was one of the guys that Coach mentioned when I asked, who are some of your playmakers out there. So Pongsack back in there at quarterback with Kinney behind him. 3 receivers to the right and 1 to the left here for the Centaurs. Pongsack wants to swing it out for Kinney. Nice catch on a pass behind him. Trying to get to the edge, and he does. Yep. Segeri will knock him out of bounds. See where they'll spot this. Looks like he'll be a little bit short of the first down, but that
flag there at the end.
Is there, yeah. I wonder if this was going to be late.
I think
they're kind of held onto his ankle at the end there, but we'll see.
I think they're going to get Kinney.
Is that right for retaliating? Unsportsmanlike conduct, it is indeed against Brooklyn Center.
Well, and that's huge because that ball is close to the first down. So instead of, 2nd and 1 or even a first down, it's going to go back 15 yards. Nice speed again to the outside. He's hanging on. Yeah, you see him throw the football at his helmet.
On a Gary.
You just can't do that, especially when you're down 14. You just had a great play. No fault. That was Gary just kind of holding on, trying to make a tackle, and completely negates that big play.
Timeout taken here, so Brooklyn Center still a promising drive, but that one surely did not help.
Well, you can tell too that I think Brooklyn Center onto something. Just some quick throws. They're getting their playmakers and Sikora and Kinney out in space, allowing them to use their speed that they have, getting them to the outside.
Coach is letting Kinney know that that you can't take away a good play that you had made there with that. And at the same time, you get after him a little bit, but you have to wipe the slate clean and forget about it too. You can't, you can't let that continue in your head from here on too. No,
but you just, after a great play like that, be excited, celebrate with your teammates. Don't, you can't. You just gotta, especially in the playoffs, where one play or one penalty can really derail what has been a really good drive and a needed drive, right? I mean, down 2 scores, really haven't gotten much going offensively. Now you got a great drive going. You just can't afford to go backwards 15 yards.
Football on the 25-yard line. Pongsack throwing over the middle, and it's complete to Powell, and he's going to get there for the touchdown. Powell running a route over the middle, and touchdown good for the Centaurs.
What a throw. Pongsack that time really stepped into it, and I'll tell you what, it was pretty well covered and just a great throw, accurate throw, and they hit Powell right on the money on the run. That was a beautiful throw and catch, and a big time play on 3rd and really long. Huge play.
So BC going to go for 2 here. Pongsack stepping up, and it is batted down as the rush was getting to him.
Well, the height there, DePaul, who we've seen his height catching the football that time, got his hands up and knocked it down. But how about the throw? Pongsack, watch where he put that. I mean, if that ball's an inch behind, that's batted down. He just put it right on the money. Showing off some arm strength, but more importantly, the accuracy. Beautiful throw, and a nice job fighting for the touchdown by Powell.
Yeah, Powell, I liked it. He wasn't satisfied to catch this one. He was
kept going. He wanted to get in that end zone.
He was running in stride and going to keep on going.
No, great drive that time by Brooklyn Center. A couple explosive runs by Sikora and a couple of easy throws that time turned into some good plays, and then the strike from Ponczak, his 6th touchdown throw of the season. Yeah.
That was big for Brooklyn Center to get that before halftime like that and come back with a nice drive. I mean, the game was not, the momentum was certainly not in their favor prior to that drive, but now they're right back in it.
And remember, too, Como Park's going to get the ball to start the second half. So you got to finish this half out. Still 2:23 left. But, yeah, you're right. If they don't score there, Como Park maybe gets another score or at least gets the ball back. This could be a 3-4 score game. So that was a very, very important drive and a nice answer by Brooklyn Center.
Sean Johnson will kick this one off. Johnson, a little pooch kick there. Nice job to field it on about the 32 and chopped down, but good alert play there by Frankie Bernard coming up to make sure that one didn't hit the ground. And so the Cougars will start at their 45 with 2:15. Oh, the clock's running right now for some reason. Obviously it shouldn't be.
Yeah, good field position. Again, 2:17 left, 1 timeout. Remember, too, high school football, the clock stops after a first down, so you got plenty of time.
And about 10 seconds just ran off there that shouldn't have. I wonder if anybody will spot it. Yeah, it doesn't look like anybody was paying attention, but it definitely ran off long after that kickoff play. So a high snap for Breen, looking and throws into traffic, almost intercepted. Just got through the hands of Aaron Briggs there as he overthrew DePaul.
Yeah, 2 receivers in the area, DePaul, and so was number 13, Otto Ganser. That ball overthrown, and I think almost surprised a little bit, Briggs maybe, but he was in good coverage down the field.
I think the Cougars thought they would catch him off guard by throwing on first down, and it almost turned into disaster. So 2nd and 10 now for Como. Back to Aguirre, and he has some room to run, brought down by Dillard Shannon. After he crosses midfield, he'll pick up about 6. So 1:40 to go as they break the huddle. They've got a 3rd and 4. It's kind of that in-between spot where, if you don't get the first down, you don't want the clock to stop, but if you do, then you got to worry about hurrying it up a little bit. Back to Aguirre, and he'll have some room and pick up the first down as he lowers the shoulder there and wanted to make sure he was going to get that first down. Kinney came up and stopped him, but he'll pick it up without too much trouble.
Yeah, good tackle by Kinney, but still paying the price. Aguirre lowering that shoulder, and he gets low too, so you're not going to get much leverage on him. Watch him finish this, right? He knows the contact's coming, and it's so rare. You don't get a lot of running backs that almost seek that kind of contact out, but Aguirre kind of old school in that regard.
Yeah, and put 2 hands on the ball too.
Yeah,
when
you
he
see him cover it up. Yep.
So on the 44-yard line of BC now. Fake the handoff here. Breen wanting to throw deep. He's got a man, and it's complete. And it'll be a touchdown, I think. Yes, the ball comes out late, but Stephen Rain was behind the defense, and he is able to get into the end zone before it's chopped loose. Touchdown for the Cougars of 44 yards.
I'll tell you what made that play, I believe, Jay, is the play action. It wasn't just a straight pass, just that little play action. It felt like the safeties maybe took a step or two up, and a beautiful route by Ganser and a beautiful throw by Jude Breen. He delivered a perfect ball. Nice touch. I'll tell you when what an answer here by Como Park right before the end of the half. Brooklyn Center getting a big score, and just like that, Como Park marches down the field and answers.
Got a flag down on delay a game here against.
It almost looked like there might have been an injury to Rain. There's that play action. Oh, there's the play before. Look at the finish in the runoff. I'll tell you, being able to run the ball successfully, that little fake right there, and you can see over the top, and it doesn't need much, but a nice job by Rain getting behind the secondary, and a great touch pass by Jude Breen as well.
I think he was farther into the end zone than I realized. That was almost bordering on a late hit there.
Yeah.
I mean, he's 6 yards in.
It's hard to tell with the lines on
Right.
the field there which one is the end zone from up here. But, yeah, he was definitely in. I'll tell you, that play doesn't work if you can't run the ball successfully.
And also, well done fake, too. Not just going through the
You gotta
motions
actually
of
get the ball in there. And it doesn't take much. Wide receivers get their momentum going, and that safety, all it is one step forward, and you allow the receiver to get behind you, and a beautiful pass.
So Como going for 2 again here. Roll out right, throw to DePaul, and again it will be good for a 2-point conversion. Same play they ran one of the previous ones on.
Yeah, pretty straightforward. Caleb DePaul's going to be one-on-one, and they expect him to win that matchup. And Jude Breen, again, throwing a strike. This is the touchdown. Nice ball fake. And that's a hard pass because if you don't want to overthrow it, but if you underthrow it, it halts the momentum of your receiver. He just put it right on the money. Get on the run with someone in his face. Beautiful throw.
And here again, they probably wouldn't have got him anyway, but don't tackle a guy that big around the shoulders.
Top, you gotta
go
get
after
low
and drive into his legs. They probably might not have been able to stop him, but not very good tackling for him there.
Well, how about this offensive output by Como Park? Just in the first half alone, 22 points. And a nice mix of running the football and passing the football, so pretty well balanced for the Cougars.
It wasn't long ago that we were just saying, oh, there's a big touchdown for Brooklyn Center. They got the momentum back. They're going to be looking good going into half. And Como answering with a very nice drive there. And you see Rain getting that touchdown catch there for the Cougars. And you talked about the quarterback not wanting to throw it too far. The receiver, when you're that wide open too, you halfway there.
Don't drop it. Whatever you do, they're not always easy to catch when you're wide open like that.
That kind of flashes through your mind, I think. It takes a bad a bounce off of the Centaurs there, but good recovery to stick with it by Omar Jackson. Help his teammate out there.
If Jackson doesn't, that might be recovered by Como Park, and then you're set up with great field position. That's a great kick into the ground, takes some goofy bounces.
Off of Sikora, and you can see why that one was hard to handle, boy. That's where that kind of kick has become more popular, guys. You really can give people trouble. That oddly shaped football doesn't always bounce the way you think it's going to. So only 41 seconds to go here in the half for the Centaurs. See if they can put something together quick. Pongsack going to hand it off on the reverse. Sikora to the edge. Step through one tackle, and then a physical collision with the Gary. And there's going to be a flag down on this play. I don't know what for.
I think they're going to get him, Gary, for a late hit.
It'd be a personal foul on a Gary.
Almost a nice tackle play right there by Tedevi, but able to get to the outside.
Oh, he's already out of bounds, I guess. I don't know.
Man, that's tough.
I don't know. Boy, it's hard to play defense if that's a penalty.
Well, especially because you don't always know if you're right on the out-of-bounds line there, or if you're.
And Sikora,
finishing
ran
his
at
run
him.
too.
Yeah, they both were
absolutely.
smashing into each other. I don't like that call at all.
That's a tough one, but that's a big penalty. You still got 32 seconds left in a short field here. This would be huge for Brooklyn Center if they could somehow get some points on the board.
Pongsack throwing into traffic, and it is intercepted. Frankie Bernard up with the pick here for the Cougars. And they tried to chop it loose. I was thinking the same thing. He's got to be careful with it, and he gets back to midfield. So Pongsack trying to make something happen. I don't know that you can really fault him for, looking downfield here. It's so late in the half and everything, but just underthrew it.
Yeah, if he had another 5 or 6 yards on that play, Powell might have had a step. He might have been able to get home, but nice job, nice play there by Bernard. And again, not only getting the interception, but getting a great return out of it. Interesting to see what Como Park does here with, about 16 seconds left.
Yeah, they're going to be content to go to the half with this lead, or are they going to try and break a big play here?
I think you take a shot if you can get some positive yards, and then you go for it.
Breen is going to throw over the middle, and Johnson not able to hang on. Pass was behind him. So 2nd and 10 here, 11 seconds remaining in the half.
Yeah, see, what I do if I'm Como Park is I run the ball up the middle here. They're expecting pass. See if you can't catch them off guard. Maybe get 20 yards up the middle on a run. It's a lot different when defense knows you're going to pass. That's why that play action was so big last possession for Como Park.
And timeout going to be taken by Brooklyn Center here. I think maybe they got something different formation-wise than they were expecting from Como, and maybe a little slow to adjust, so coaches wanted to talk. And even just late in the half, you just don't want a big play to happen against you in that spot.
That's where you're telling everyone about trick plays, hook and ladders, reverse, all that stuff. Nothing behind you. We got to come up and be good tacklers, but we'll give up 20 yards right now. We just can't give up that big play over the top.
Sure if it's an injury or not, but I know Sikora is out of the game right now also for BC. I think the Cougars are going to be pretty excited here, regardless of if they do anything more here, just with this half that they've played. Breen rolling to the right, underthrows Johnson. He didn't really get his feet set on that one, and it wasn't close. So 3rd down, 6.7 seconds remaining. I think on a different part of the field, they would have probably been more conservative there, but they thought, well, at midfield, we can go ahead and try it here.
Yeah.
And they're going to hand it off to a Gary here. Broke the first tackle and then can't get by the next. And we're going to tick down to halftime here. So a solid first half here for the visiting Cougars from St. Paul Como, as they will take a 22-6 lead into the halftime break here over the Centaurs. As strong second quarter, 3 touchdowns put up on the board. And boy, like we talked about at the time, right? Just when Brooklyn Center came back with that march and got the touchdown, then the big answer came from Como, and right now Brooklyn Center got a few things to figure out.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing is they got to be able to sustain drives. They got to be able to run the football. They got to get Warren Kinney going. We've seen a lot of Sikora, but I expect to see Kinney, and they got to get some big plays to set up their passing game, and they got to figure out how to stop a Gary too, because he pretty much had his way in the first half.
Now they'll wind the halftime clock here as some adjustments to be made. Both teams will be actually staying out here, which is another reason that we and they are glad it's 50-ish.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get to the playoff time and it can already
cold.
be
Yep.
pretty nasty to sit in the end zone and talk, but right now that's not the case here for these teams. And Brooklyn Center, I mean, I think they're a little disappointed with the first half, but it's not the time to hang your head.
No,
I mean, obviously
you're still in this game. Absolutely. You got to figure out how to stop that run. And if they can do that, get a stop. Because remember, Como Park's going to get the ball here to start the second half. And I think this drive could really dictate where this game goes. If they're able to sustain a 7-8 minute drive and score again, you almost feel like it might be out of reach. But if Brooklyn Center can get a stop, get the ball back, and maybe get a quick score, all of a sudden we got a ball game.
Coach Chauncey talked about how that's something that's improved in this program, is that they're become a little more resilient. He said they lost early to Edison in a game they thought they probably should have won, but he was happy with the guys coming back with good attitude the next day and everything too.
Yep.
So, and they're going to have to try and do that within a game here this evening here if they want to come back against Como. Let's go down now to the field, and Allie is with Coach Skull from the Cougars.
Thanks, Jay. Coach, before the game, you said you needed to contain the run and execute on offense. How do you think you guys did in that first half with that?
Well, I think for the most part, we did a good job containing the run. There were a couple times where we had some breakdowns. And then I think in terms of executing on offense, I think our execution was pretty good. Yeah.
A huge momentum gainer here in that second quarter, getting that 44-yard touchdown reception and then backing it up with an interception. How do you guys propel that momentum into the second half to get a road playoff win?
Well, just, making sure that our guys are aware of that you got to play the whole game. I think Brooklyn Center can score pretty quickly, and so we don't want them to get any momentum, so just keep playing hard.
Any adjustments that you saw from the first half that you want to make in the second?
Just some little things, just some coverage things, picking up on a few plays that they're trying to run against us.
All right. We thank you for your time, Coach.
Thanks.
Guys.
Thanks, Allie, and thanks, Coach. We'll come back with more football here from Brooklyn Center. First half highlights, and we'll hear from Coach Chauncey Williams-Bearfield as well. It is 22-6, St. Paul Como leading Brooklyn Center here at halftime.
CCX Media is the first place you go for local news and sports. But did you know you can sign up for those stories to go straight to your inbox on our website? Simply go to ccxmedia.org. Click on the subscribe button, and from there choose which notifications you want to receive. Then we'll send your favorite CCX Media news, sports, and city events straight to your inbox. Sign up now at ccxmedia.org.
Welcome back here to Brooklyn Center High School as you look at some of the fans across the way. Como Park leading it by a score of 22-6 at halftime as we check out our first half highlights. No scoring in the first quarter, so all of this coming in quarter number 2, starting with Gary finishing a drive with a little 1-yard touchdown plunge. And then 4 minutes later, they were able to work him into the passing game. Or, I'm sorry, this is a 2-point conversion first to DePaul. That made it 8-0.
A nice little screenplay here to Gary, and watch him make this guy miss right there. Great footwork, able to get to the outside, take it all the way in.
So they seem to have all the momentum, even though they missed their extra point here. It was 14-zip. Brooklyn Center came back with a nice drive, and Pongsack then throwing a strike to Powell over the middle, and he fights into the end zone, and you're thinking, okay, now BC's getting it going.
Yep.
But immediately answered by a nice drive here, play action, and up top he goes to Stephen Rain, and he goes for the touchdown. That one was a kind of a backbreaker, covered 44 yards for the Cougars, and they lead it, as we said, 22-6. You get a look at a very balanced attack, maybe more so than what we would have expected for Como. A couple big pass plays, including that one to Rain, obviously worked in, and BC just not enough possessions and not enough good snaps, and penalties hurt them a little bit as well, so both teams, in fact. So you see the the stats at halftime. We'll come back in a moment here, take a quick break, and have more for you here. Playoff football from the Section 4 Class 4A tournament. Como 22, Brooklyn Center 6.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Welcome back here to Brooklyn Center. Centaurs trailing St. Paul Como Park 22-6 at halftime of our playoff football game. And some sad news in the Centaur family is one of their longtime coaches passed away here recently, and John Jacobson has more on that story.
A longtime coach and teacher in the area has passed away. Greg Gilreath, who coached Brooklyn Center boys basketball starting in the late 1980s into the early 2000s, died at the age of 61. For nearly 20 years, you could find Greg Gilreath on the sidelines, coaching boys basketball at Brooklyn Center High School. In this 2004 story that we aired, he talked about coaching at BC.
I enjoy working with a lot of these young men because a lot of these young men sometimes have a habit of coming to me outside of the coaching. And that's where I feel I fulfill a lot of my needs as a role model for a lot of these young men and just basically a father figure for a lot of these gentlemen in the area.
The players he coached and mentored felt the impact he had on them.
He's there for me, like, you know what I'm saying, emotionally after games when I have bad games and when stuff going on at home, he's there for me. So he's there for me other than being a coach.
Let's go, go get it, right there.
Coach Gill, as almost everyone called him, played high school basketball at Marshall University High in Minneapolis in the late 1970s. In the classroom, he worked for 3 decades as a Phi Ed teacher at what is now Brooklyn Center Elementary School.
If we could do something, exercise every morning, oh, they'll be so ready for school.
If I could turn their heads and tell them that it's more than just basketball in life, that I've been successful. The wins and losses come in years and they go in years, but you can't put a handle on how much these guys can become men. And that's my goal. And if I can make them a better person in life, I've succeeded.
Gill passed away a few days ago after a 2-year battle with cancer. He was just 61 years old. Funeral services for Greg Gilreath are Tuesday morning in Minneapolis. John Jacobson, CCX Sports.
Some sad news there. I knew Coach Gill pretty well through the years and I always enjoyed talking with him, a great guy. And remember him actually, he and his brother playing for Marshall U when I was a young kid growing up. And so certainly will be missed around the area. And thanks for all the years that he put in coaching and teaching here in the Brooklyn Center School District. We'll take a break, come back and hear from Coach William Sparefield and then have our second half of football here on CCX. Welcome back. Let's go down to the field now with Allie.
Adjustments were addressed here at halftime with your team to really flip the script and change this game around in the second half.
We got to match their physicality. I think they took us by surprise a little bit with their physicality. little arm tackling here and there that kind of costs us some big plays. So just come out, tackle with our pads, do what we've been teaching them. We'll be just fine.
What about cleaning up some penalties, right? Some of those have been a little costly.
Yeah, we had some mental mistakes there. Guys not handling adversity well. We talked about it. I think we're good. We'll be better in the second half.
And what about Sikora? Is he going to be ready and set to go in the second half?
Oh, yeah, he's ready to rock and roll.
Okay, that's perfect. And, Coach, a little bit of a momentum shift coming into the second half. How do you guys regain that for yourselves to take this playoff win?
It's a 0-0 game. Start over. We can't go backwards. Made some mistakes. Gave some big plays. So it's kind of resetting. That's what's good about halftime. Go into the second half, clean slate, 0-0 game. Let's go win the second half.
All right. Appreciate your time, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Allie, and thanks to Coach Chauncey as well here as his team, is staying pretty upbeat. I mean, It's a fine line. You want to get some fire into your kids, but you also, I think, you have to, bring the positive part of it too and say, hey, we're still in this game.
Well, kids in high school especially, they take such a following of the coach's persona, and you could tell he's confident, he's calm, and you want to make sure your kids believe in that, believe they can still win the game. And he said a great point. Their physicality caught him off guard. I think it did, and they got to be better tacklers. And if they can do that, stopping that run is going to be key here in the second half.
Take one more timeout. We'll come back and kick off the second half here from Brooklyn Center. Centaurs trailing the Cougars from St. Paul Como 22-6.
If I could be you, and you could be me for just 1 hour. If we could find a way to get inside each other's minds. Walk a mile in my shoes. Walk a mile in my shoes. Well, before you abuse, criticize, and accuse. Walk a mile in my shoes.
Welcome back as we get set to begin quarter number 3. Como will get the ball first, as Ryan said. They kind of had the momentum going into half with that 22-6 lead, and they will get first opportunity with the football here. It'll be interesting to see if Brooklyn Center does anything out of the ordinary with this kickoff, as in maybe try and
onside,
or sneak one between levels and see if they can't run after it. Sikora is going to kick it off.
The only problem with that, if you don't get it, you end up giving great field position to an offense that had a pretty good rhythm. But, you and I were just talking. I just think this drive really will set the tone for the rest of this game, Jay. If Como Park can, sustain another drive, put some more points on the board, you kind of just suck all the momentum away.
Does kick it on the ground, but this is going to be, I think, offside against Brooklyn Center. Got a flag down.
Yeah, I decline it if I'm Como Park because you got great field position right there at about the 40. Can you decline that, or do they? Is it automatic?
Yeah, well, the whistle blew, so I think it must have been. It must be stopped. Obviously, they must not be able to. Because I agree, that would might take a chance. Have the ball there. See, we can see they get it too early of a start. It was a couple of the guys closest to him that just, they're probably telling Sikora, you got to run faster there. But no, it's your job as the cover guys there to not get ahead of the kicker. And see how Sikora is putting it on the tee, that they kind of have something in mind to do the same kind of thing again. He's got it.
Well, they took Sikora off. They got a new kicker in.
Oh, yeah. I'm sorry, you're right.
Yeah.
It will be back to Johnson, who kicked off earlier. And he's going to squib one. That one might go out of bounds, though, and it will.
Even better field position for Como Park.
So you could see the idea they were looking at there, but it didn't quite work out. And again, we talked about how the football can be tough to field on those, but controlling it as a kicker isn't all that easy either.
Well, especially when you have a holder too, because of the wind. That changes it as well. But Either way, it's going to be excellent field position for Como Park. And I'll tell you right now, Brooklyn Center, and you heard from Coach Williams Bearfield too, great demeanor at half, calm and, 0-0. We just got to reset, be physical, and tackle. And I think he hit it right on the head. Those are the two things I'm watching for is, are they physical up front? Are they doing something different? Are they bringing more guys in the box? And can they stop the run and tackle better? And if they can do that, they're going to be able to get some stops and get the ball back into their offense.
Had a brief officials timeout there as they were making sure everything was set. And now ready to go from the 48 of Como. Gary takes the handoff here, and he'll be into Brooklyn Center territory, and a decent gainer on first down as he'll pick up about 5. Unofficially had him for 77 yards rushing in the first half, and then also 25 more yards receiving.
Yeah, and you talked about it, looking at the stats at halftime. I mean, great balance by Como Park. Much normally on the year, much more predominantly in the run game, but hit a couple of nice big plays, 2 passing touchdowns in that first half. One to Gary and the other one to Rain on that big one, but really good balance.
Green rolling to the right, throws, and it is incomplete. Coming in hot and off the hands of DePaul there.
Yeah, well, Breen has shown he's got arm strength. He's delivered a couple of rockets. And that's not, sometimes it's great when you're in space and you got to do it, but something like that where you got a pretty open receiver, it's okay to take a little off that fastball, make it a little bit easier to catch for your wide receiver. So big third down for Brooklyn Center here if they can stop this drive and get the ball back.
Third down and 5 here for the Cougars. Gary breaks a tackle, and he'll fall forward for the first down. Centaurs look like they had him right near the line or in the backfield even, but tough guy to bring down.
Yeah, that was Dillard Shannon, number 34. Great job coming up the field. He was right there. You're going to see him right there in your screen. He's got a good look on him and just couldn't wrap him up. You can't leave your feet when you're tackling a big ball carrier like that. You need your strength to do it. And that ball came out, but it looked like it was after he had hit the ground.
First and 10 at the 42 of Brooklyn Center now for the Cougars. Bennett in there in the backfield as Gary gets a little breather. And an early start on the left side of the O-line there for Como. So mark off 5. Interesting set. St. Paul Como has generally just gone with their 5-man line and not. They list DePaul as a tight end, but for the most part he's been more in a slot and sometimes spreading the field is better for having running lanes, and that's kind of what they've generally been doing. But of course now this time looks like they are using a tight end, or he's actually just off the edge of the line. Breen pulls it back and then throws complete to Johnson, and he'll be shoved out at the 30-yard line. This will be another first down for Como. Got a few receivers who have really gotten in on the action, Johnson being one of them.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, again, the receiving route that they have, they got 3 levels. They got a guy short, medium, and deep, and he's just kind of reading the defense, seeing their drops, and making a good decision. And that time, again, put some sauce on that throw, but it was accurate, and Johnson with a nice catch, and big pickup there on 1st and 15. Nice throw.
They're at the 30-yard line now of Brooklyn Center, already leading 22-6. And as Ryan said, a pretty key drive here to start this third quarter for both teams, in particular Brooklyn Center. I don't think they can afford to fall behind by another touchdown here. Gary taking the handoff, cuts it upfield, and he'll be down near the 20-yard line, and looks like he might be banged up a little bit. See if they'll give him enough for this first down.
Yeah, you can tell he got hit right, looked like right in the thigh pad there. Yeah, just some, again, good physical running. And I think what they do is you put DePaul out a little bit wider than a normal tight end. It allows him to get a nice angle on a down block, and you can see a lot of the success running the football for Gary has kind of come when they've gotten to the outside.
So at the 20-yard line now, first down. Aguirre stays in there despite getting up a little bit slow after that last run. He'll take the handoff again, and this time going nowhere as he is wrapped up and dropped for a short loss on the play. I think that was Washington who got him.
Yeah, Gibson in there too. Nice job. Good penetration. Good team tackling there as well. When you tackle a big guy like Aguirre, it takes sometimes 2, 3, 4 guys. Really one of the first times in a long time we've seen him win first down defensively here. That was nice.
Stingley might have been in on that stop, it looked like, too. And this will be a timeout taken by Como Park. They get set for a 2nd and 11 play.
Kind of a typical drive tonight for Como Park, Jay. Just nothing huge, but 10 yards, 11 yards, 5 yards. They got the big pass play on 1st and 15. Just a nice mix of run and pass.
Yeah, and they've got, obviously they're relying quite a bit on Aguirre, but they've also mixed the ball around to the different receivers. Yep. And, Bennett's come in and had a couple of nice runs kind of as a change-up as well. So I like the mixture that they've had. I like the play calling that they've had. See what they can do here on this 2nd and 11. Aguirre taking it, cuts it up hard, and he is chopped down. Looks like he'll be just short of the first down, but another nice gainer, and again, kind of running off the edge there.
And you got to have good penetration if you're Brooklyn Center. Guys on the weak side got to keep coming down the line. Nice kick out, and then again, watch this second effort. He got hit and still kind of kept those feet trying to dive for every extra yard, and by doing that, able to get an extra yard or two and set up a 3rd and short.
Didn't get quite as close to the sticks as I thought. I guess he kind of rolled over a little bit as he went down, but we'll leave him with 3rd and a long 2 or short 3. Back to Aguirre, big hole up the middle, and he's going to go in for the touchdown. As Como extends the lead with an excellent drive here to begin quarter number 3.
Yeah, and you saw that time by Brooklyn Center, a really good push up the middle. They had 3 black jerseys in the backfield, almost like they overran Aguirre that time. And you got to have an awareness on where he is because he's gotten the ball so much tonight. You get up the back, penetration into the backfield. You got to locate him first and foremost. Almost like they overran that play.
3rd touchdown tonight for Aguirre, 2 of them rushing and 1 receiving. And as they've done all night long, they'll be going for 2 here. Bennett is in the backfield this time. Going to hand it off to Bennett, and he will go in for that 2-point conversion. So the
like
Cougars,
a delayed, like he was in the end zone for about 5 seconds before.
So that'll stretch it to 30-6.
You can see on that touchdown, again, good penetration into the backfield. They just overran Aguirre slightly, and look at that. And you almost let those defense linemen up the field, and then by the time he breaks that, a lot of space there in the middle. Here's the 2-point conversion. Yeah, it was like a delayed call that it was good. He's clearly, he's a yard or 2 in.
That's the kind of play where I hate to see that, because that's when either you can get penalties or a guy get hurt if they're not, being emphatic and calling it good right away.
As soon as that ball crosses, that whistle's got to go, and you got to get your hand signaled. But that's exactly the kind of drive. You get 8 points in 4 minutes. Again, good mixture of the pass and the run. And Brooklyn Center now really down 24, still down 3 scores. but this is where now you put a lot of pressure on your offense to respond.
Another thing that the Cougars have done well, obviously, is converted 3 out of their 4 two-point conversions, so they're in the plus in that regard as well. This kick dropped in nicely back to about the 15. Kinney picks it up, but the Cougars get there, and you'll have about 0 on the return because of how long that ball was on the ground. They had plenty of time to get down and cover it.
We talk about how the ball bounces weird. That one looked like it was going to roll out of bounds and almost just died and stayed in bounds, and that's a tough return there for Kinney and good coverage too on the kickoff.
Important for Brooklyn Center now to be efficient, but also to kind of keep their heads up. I mean, obviously you don't like what the scoreboard looks like right now. Game isn't over, though.
No, and the other thing, you can't get it all back in one play, right? So you don't want to necessarily take shots down the field that's uncharacteristic of your offense. You still got time. You got to run the football, get the ball, in the hands of your playmakers and Sikora and Kinney, and mix up a play-action pass or two. But you don't necessarily want to just take shots that you normally wouldn't have to take.
They're going to have to take a timeout. That was about to be a delay of game. They only had 10 men on the field. I was watching the back judge, and he had started that countdown, and they had to use that timeout. So not an ideal way to begin a drive here, obviously.
Now, this is where you start. You got to watch body language. This is where you got to have leaders on that team that, hey, guys, let's stay together here. Let's keep going. We have, you start hanging your head. You start worrying, all of a sudden it can get worse and worse and worse. You got to make a play as a team here. You got to block together. You got to have someone make a big play. All it takes is one. You get that spark back. You get the momentum. You get your confidence back.
I think they felt it was important enough not to start
with a bad play.
Penalty, that
someone didn't know the play or timing. Absolutely.
Didn't want to burn a timeout, but better than the alternative here. So first down at the 15. Pongsack will hand it off to Sikora, and he is met right away, and now his knee finally goes down as Deloach was there to meet him.
Yeah, we've called his name big number 74 a couple times tonight. He's had a couple of nice plays in the backfield. Good push.
Sikora kept his legs going. He was trying to get out of that, and he wasn't down right away, but then finally his knee did hit.
Remember the couple of quick passes they had in the first half? One to Sikora, one to Kinney that got some big yards. They got to go to a quick hitter, try to get those two guys out in space. They've shown to be electric.
Second and long. Pongsack looking to throw deep down the sideline and incomplete. Well covered, and he was looking for Kinney, and he was expecting Kinney to be a little bit more inside, and Kinney was out along the sideline, so that one. But again, good coverage.
Yep.
There haven't been plays where that the Cougars have just been totally blown up in the secondary. They've generally been around the ball.
Yeah, and I like that play idea. They had 3 wide receivers to the right. You single Kinney in one-on-one there. And to your point, Jay, these wide receivers got to come off of that sideline. It's easy for a defensive back to play you when you're on the sideline like that. If you're about 5-6 yards off of that, then you can go either way. It makes it a little bit easier. But I like the play call. And you got to give Kinney a chance to go make that play if you're a quarterback.
So a third down and long for the Centaurs. Toss it to Sikora, and a lot of pursuit. He breaks free, though. Sikora keeps his legs driving. Another fake and keeps going. He'll be stopped a little short of the 20, though. And they're going to have to boot it away here, it looks like.
I'll tell you what, his effort when he gets the football is just spectacular. I know his yards maybe aren't that great, but, he made about 8 moves there where I thought for sure he was tackled. Even here, just look at him keep going, and he's elusive and fighting till the end. That's You love it. He still doesn't go down, even after about 6 guys are tackling him.
Sikora is the punter. This deep in the field, it's kind of would be quite a gamble for him to run the ball, but you never know. I mean, you got to be ready for that if you're the Cougars.
Especially with his speed, if you are able to fool him, he can get it to the outside.
Good snap this time, and he gets the kick away. And it bounces. Cougars won't attempt to return here. Why is that guy going anywhere near the ball? If you're Cougars, pair him, and you just need to run away from it. But they'll get it right near the 50-yard line. So Como, you couldn't ask for much more to start this half. They start it with a touchdown drive, then they get a stop defensively, force a punt to midfield. I mean, everything kind of flowing their way right now.
Yeah, it is. Something's going to have to change for Brooklyn Center. They got to get a turnover, a fumble, an interception, something big here to spark them, because you can kind of just sense their guys are walking on the field. You can just sense that the collective energy is down at the moment.
The coaches are telling Perriman exactly what I was saying. Why are you running toward that ball? And I think it looked like he was indicating that I couldn't hear the fire call or whatever terminology they use.
It's one of those when you're watching film tomorrow in front of the whole team that, coach is obviously going to point out a lot of great things, but he's going to be making sure that you don't run by the football.
Bennett takes the handoff here, and he is brought down. Dillard Shannon's probably about half his size, but he did the right thing. Let's go at his ankles, and he is able to get the stop after a gain of about 3.
Yeah, he's limping too. I'll tell you, and they give just enough handoffs, carries to Bennett where you keep a Gary, fresh as well. Yeah, that was a great form tackle right there, giving up a lot of weight. But
yeah, Gibson actually, who's the one who finished him. Obviously, good job too by Dillard Shannon hanging around the ankle, but it was really Gibson who got the bulk of that stop. So 2nd down and 6, they'll call it here. New back in there this time, and some room to run. That'll be enough for the 1st down and more, as William Stiles, the sophomore, on the carry there, down to about the 36.
Yeah, sophomore, not quite as big and physical as the other 2 backs, but maybe a little bit more speed. And again, look at how well blocked that was on the right side. I mean, he had no contact till he was 7-8 yards down the field. So these running backs deservedly get a lot of credit, and they've been great tonight. But that offensive line, those receivers, tight ends have all done an excellent job opening up holes for him.
Yeah, it sure was a different look when he started to run the ball. He's like much smaller, but also a little quick. They're going with a much tighter formation now too. 1st and 10 at the BC 36. Cougars look like they're trying to use time here too and not snap the ball early. And this time nowhere to go, as Gibson arriving in a hurry, and he takes Stiles down for a loss of about 4, maybe 5 even.
Oh, great play by Gibson. We've seen them get penetration into the backfield, Jay, but they haven't been able to wrap up that time. Excellent job by Gibson. He was there, found the ball carrier, great tackle. One of the few negative plays on the evening for Como Park.
I'm guessing the Centaurs probably aren't exactly disappointed that Aguirre is not in there, or Bennett even. Nothing against Stiles. Looks like he's a good back too, but obviously just not as physically daunting to try and come up and tackle him. Rolling right. Breen will throw it. Oh, and he had Johnson open, but he got turned around. He was behind the D there.
I thought Johnson stopped running. I think if he would have kept going, he would have had a touchdown. Same route that we've seen. They had 3 levels that time, and before he started moving there, he stopped. If he would have kept going, that would have been a touchdown.
So Brooklyn Center kind of dodging one there. It'll stay 3rd and long. That one could have been 6 for the Cougars. They just weren't quite on the same page on the depth of that route, it looked like. Gonna throw it out in the flat, and it's complete. A little catch and run. Not going to be quite enough for the 1st down there for Nick Everson, but nice gainer.
Yeah, and that heads-up play, they realized how far back Brooklyn Center was playing. Just a quick throw, and some good blocking down the field. And Everson, which is almost a great last name, by the way, too. But got a big play, at least set up fourth and manageable here at the 29-yard line. You got to think you're not punting from here.
No, and it also, gives you a chance to even eat some more clock here. Even if you don't make it, it's as good as if you had punted.
Yep. And the bad news is you got Bennett in the backfield, so you got a big load.
4th down and 3. They're going to hand it off to Bennett. He'll try and get
hit
there, but he will not get there. Nice stop by Sikora.
Yeah.
No gain on the play.
See how low he got to, and that time he had his head up, shoulder pads wrapped into him. That was a very good one-on-one tackle. One of the things Coach Williams Bearfield said, we need to do a better job of tackling. That's exactly what he had in mind.
So Centaurs get kind of a must stop right there. I mean, they're still down 24 points here, but at least they get the ball back late in this third quarter. They're going to need to make something happen. But as Ryan said, too, you can't be panicking and trying to go for a home run on every play either.
Yeah, I just wonder where do you go offensively right now, right? The passing game hasn't been there. Great coverage down the field. You're giving up some size in the interior, so running the ball. You try to get the ball to Kinney and Sikora with those quick hitches and those pass plays that are easy to play a game.
Wow. I don't know how that can happen coming out of a turnover like that, but it did.
Well, that's kind of what I'm talking to. Like, guys are walking on the field. It's like if you're into this game, you got to sprint and excited. They're just kind of taking their time, kind of nonchalant, and you got to recognize down 24. You got to be efficient right now. You can't afford any of those little 5-yard penalties.
Hand it off to Kinney on the reverse there. Kinney getting to the outside, and let's see, he went out of bounds after about a 5-yard pickup, it looks like, getting back to penalty yardage.
And not a huge play, but I love the play call, the play design. You get everything flowing over to the right side, and you get Kinney coming back on the reverse. Pretty well defended. Perryman was right there, but just the speed of Kinney still able to get positive yards there.
So it'll make it a 2nd down and 10 as he gets back, as I said, to the original line of scrimmage. Handoff going to Sikora, and Deloach is there to drop him. Another nice stop there for Justice Deloach.
And he's that right defensive end. He's just shedding his blocker. You're going to see him come right at the top of your screen right there. You can see how far up the field he's pushed the offensive lineman. And not only that, but then he's reading it. He's seeing where the ball's going, coming down. And, to tackle Sikora like that, you got to get him either when he doesn't see you or before he gets that footwork going. Otherwise, he can make you miss. But great tackle.
I like, too, it's a physical tackle, but still in good form. He's not, like, trying to for a knockout shot or something. I mean, he's just making sure he's wrapped up.
And bring him down.
Yep. Pongsack throwing deep downfield, and it's caught. Sikora's going to go for a touchdown.
That was a nice play.
71-yard strike, and just like that, Brooklyn Center getting on the board again.
Good protection. You got Pongsack got to set his feet, and that time threw a perfect ball. And one of the few times all night we've seen the defensive back for Como Park allow a receiver to get behind him. And I suppose when you're playing Sikora, you think you're fast. He's probably faster than you think, and he just blew by him. Nice catch and big-time play. That was kind of that offense we thought we were going to see from the get-go of these explosive plays, but that was a pretty-looking play.
Centaurs getting lined up here to go for 2. Going to throw it up into the end zone, and it's caught. It was going to be a penalty anyway, but Sikora outfights the defender, so they'll obviously decline this, and the 2-point conversion is good as he just wins the jump ball.
Yeah, and only 5'11", just showing off his athleticism, going up and getting that. Yeah, some contact before the ball got there, but it didn't matter. Just went up and made a great play. Here's a look at that touchdown pass. And again, one of the few times we've actually seen, the defensive back not get the depth that they needed. And nice looking throw. Remember Pongsak too, he's only a sophomore, so you can tell he's got a nice throwing motion. He's got a couple of throws with some great touch on it too. He's going to be a heck of a quarterback as he gets older and putting up some nice numbers. Running the fade, you see there's the contact, great concentration. I'll tell you that Sikora could play on a team of mine anytime. I mean, you love how he just doesn't quit. He's been a great tackler. You've seen him run the football there. He gets a big touchdown catch. He's a competitor.
Another good thing about that one is how quickly it happened. They're very much in this ball game now. Getting that score before the end of the quarter, 30-14.
Well, it's funny how momentum works too, Jay. You get a big play like that. Now your defense comes out a little more energized. Maybe you get another stop, and this is far from over. That's exactly what Brooklyn Center needed.
Johnson will kick it off here, and it is a pure onside try, but it is recovered by the Cougars as DePaul was there to come up with that one right near midfield. A worthy gamble, I think, in this spot, but Cougars executed well, or that guy in particular, Caleb DePaul. So Como will get it near midfield.
Well, it's one of those things, too, you tell your guys, hey, before you take off and run, make sure that onside kick isn't coming. And you kind of lose the element of surprise a little bit. If that would have been the first quarter, you might have gotten it. But nice job by DePaul, who's been sure-handed. We've seen that tonight, able to get on it.
So first down here at the 49, Como Park. Gary is back in there, and he takes it around the right side, trying to pull out of that Jersey tackle, and he'll be into Centaur's territory at about the 47 or so, maybe 48. About a 3-yard pickup.
Nice play by Ronald Washington there. Who at 300 pounds moves really well for a big guy.
I think Centaurs more than likely know what's coming here. It's a matter of can they stop it.
Well, you see how many black jerseys you see in the box there. They're bringing everyone down. This is where you got to be careful of a play action.
And that's what's coming here. Throw complete to DePaul, and he's got some room to run.
Oh,
a nice tackle there. He was being blocked, but Kinney got off it and chopped him down.
Yeah, I thought if DePaul could have come back to the middle and made Kinney miss, he would have been able to score. But you see everyone, look at all the pressure, everyone in the box there. Nice call, good execution. That's a great tackle by Warren Kinney. If he doesn't make that, Jay, I think that goes for a touchdown.
As it is, they'll be at the 34-yard line of Brooklyn Center here as we're down to just under 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. Como leading, although the Centaurs just struck for a 71-yard touchdown to get themselves back in it. It's still 30-14 now for Como Park. Gary takes the handoff and nowhere to run as Washington. And very much what Ryan was saying there, they've really started to stack the box and say we've got to force them to do something different here.
Yep, and nice job, good penetration. We've seen him get up the field, but unable to make that kind of a tackle that time. I'll tell you what, as big as Gary is, he's not bigger than Ronald Washington. If you let Washington get those arms around you, you ain't going anywhere. Nice play.
Third quarter comes to an end. Fourth quarter is up next here. It's 30-14 Como Park. The winner moves on to face Fridley. The loser will be done for the season.
CCX Media, your source for great local programming, is now available on Roku and Apple TV. Our free app allows you to stream all 3 of our channels live. You'll also have access to a large on-demand library, including daily newscasts and full sporting events. To find the app, go to the store and search CCX and download our free app. Then sit back and enjoy all of your favorite local content. Now available on Roku and Apple TV.
Each team getting a touchdown and 2-point conversion in that third quarter. So 30-14 Como, 2nd down and 12 for the Cougars as we begin this fourth quarter after a loss on first down. Rain gonna fire it out in the flat. Rain with the catch, getting a block out there from Johnson, and down the sideline he goes.
They're going to get a hold, I believe. Wide receiver blocking down the field.
And I was just giving Johnson some praise for the block, but the official felt otherwise, it looks like.
Well, it looked like a good block, too.
You're right, it is indeed a hold. The good news, I guess, for Como is that it did come downfield, so it's from the spot of the foul, so it's not that big a loss, but still.
Yep, easy throw and catch, and let's see if we can see the hold there.
Yeah, I think he was okay initially, but then when the defender started to pull away, he kind of
starts turning. You still got a grab there. It's whether it is a hold or not, it looks like a hold, so it's an easy call.
Back to the 40-yard line it'll be. Ooh, throwing low toward Rain. The defensive back Jackson was getting there quick. Did they call this complete? I think so, but it'll be a loss. Yeah, they did. They would have been better off with that incomplete, I think.
You're just seeing a little bit more aggressiveness from the defensive backs here, and everyone in general, just coming up, flying to the ball. And this is a big play, 3rd and really long. Again, you get another stop. Get your offense the ball back with some good momentum.
Fake the handoff, rolling right and throws, and that one will be incomplete, in and out of the hands of Otto Ganser. A lot of traffic around there too.
Yeah, and I think Jude Breen's going to want that one back. He had Stephen Rain going deep down the field, wide open. If he would have been able to get his head around and see that, that would have been an easy touchdown, but he was kind of locked in to Ganser. Nice job by the Brooklyn Center defense here.
DePaul is the punter. We haven't seen him have to punt yet here tonight. And they got to be in danger of a delay of game here, I think. Yep. Yeah, they're going to get a delay of game, it appears. Yep. Boy, that's an awful lot of them for both teams tonight. And when you look at, why our teams don't win a lot, it's
little
things
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there is no clock. You can't see a clock. Like some fields will have that play clock right there, but you just got to have a feel. You've played enough games now. You expect to see a couple in the first game of the year, right? Just getting used to the timing. But yeah, you're right. It's little things like that they add up.
DePaul gets away, high kick. Not much chance for a return here. Oh, and it takes a great Como bounce as well. Swatted off Sikora. I think this is a live ball still as he picks it up. Sikora coming up the sideline, gets a block, and he's going to be down the sideline for a touchdown. Unbelievable. Como stopped playing when he tried to save that ball. The ball isn't downed if you're not controlling it, and he just batted it off Sikora. Everybody kind of looking around like, okay, is this going to stand? And it looks like it will.
What a heads-up play by that young man. A lot of times you kind of give up on it when it starts bouncing like that. That bounced from about the 25-yard line.
The officials are getting together to discuss this. It was such an unusual play. Now, normally in high school football, you can't return punts and kicks out of the end zone. And I think that's the discussion right here is, you know, what led to that ball being where it was. And so this may not stand as a touchdown. Oh, it's going to be a touchback. It will not be a touchdown. It'll be a first down for Brooklyn Center at their 20.
Wow, what a shame. That was such a heads-up, amazing play.
I kind of thought this might be the case, but the question kind of becomes who did this ball go off of and all that.
Before it hit in the end zone, I would think that would be – it's not like he returned it from the end zone. It was
right. But even in cases like that, I've seen that before. If it deflects off somebody that you're not, which I've never quite understood why high school rules are that way, but they are. And so unfortunately for Socorro, a big long play wiped out. Kind of a good lesson for everybody though that you don't stop playing until you know the whistle sounds. But unfortunately for BC, it's not going to count.
What a great effort, though. What an exciting play. That was the best touchback I've ever seen, though, I think. Yeah, I mean, because this ball's touched before it goes in. Kind of batted right off of Socorro's leg. Yeah, and then everyone for Como Park kind of quit playing, and Socorro heads up and made a spectacular return.
So from the 20, the Centaurs will have to do it the long way here. Kinney getting to the outside. Kinney out of bounds he goes, just about a yard shy of the first down here. So even though it didn't count, let's see if that fires the Centaurs up a little bit.
Well, you can just see they're getting positive plays. They win a bunch of series, from the second quarter all the way through the third quarter without a lot of positive plays. Now they're starting to get that excitement back.
And an injured Brooklyn Center player down. And let's see if is it the quarterback now? I don't think so. Or is it? Can't see the number. No, it's not Ponczak. Fortunately, I haven't seen a whole lot. Oh, it's Gibson. Haven't seen a whole lot of guys dinged up here tonight, but he tried to get up and just couldn't. And now being helped off.
Yeah, that's a big loss for them on offense, but especially on defense. He's had a couple of nice plays defensively. Hopefully, looks like it's his leg. Hopefully nothing.
Probably should have sent another player out there instead of trying to have the trainer help carry him there. So let's hope that Gibson's all right. Obviously, he's not feeling the greatest right now. The 2nd and 1 for BC. Interesting game here. Still early in the fourth. They had what appeared to be a long punt return, was changed to a touchback, which I believe is correct. A little bit of a low snap. Ponczak picks it up. Thought about throwing downfield. Now he's going to try and run, and he is wrapped up and dropped by Adekplovy there. And he'll be short of the first down, it appears. Got maybe a half yard, if anything, there.
Yeah, I think they were looking for Warren Kinney down the field again, but probably a right decision. If it wasn't there, instead of forcing it, kept it. Didn't get didn't take a big loss there. Maybe a gain of about a half a yard.
Yeah, it'll be 3rd and less than 1 here for the Centaurs. With the handoff here, and that'll be enough for the first down as Kinney crosses the 30-yard line. So as we said, the clock stops to move the chains in high school football, and then they'll wind it again here, and we'll be under 9 minutes to go when this next play commences.
Yeah, and if you're Brooklyn Center, Jay, you're looking at that time. You got to be quick and efficient between plays because you know you need 2 scores and a stop as well.
Pongsack firing, ooh, and that one nearly picked off. Apparella, as Powell was flashing in front of him there.
Yeah, and you'll see sometimes when quarterbacks really try to put a little extra velocity on it, that ball can sail a little bit, and that you could tell Pongsack really watch him put everything he's got into this ball. And the ball just sailed, and thank goodness it had a lot of heat on it because it made it hard to intercept as well.
So no harm done ultimately. 2nd down and 10 here for Brooklyn Center, trailing at 30-14, but kind of a little momentum going their way. They don't have much margin for error anymore, but they still got a shot. Pongsack throwing it up for Sikora again. Oh, and just off his hand as he battled BC, kind of a few guys asking for a flag there. There was a little bit of hand fighting upfield, but it will go as a long incompletion.
Yeah, and that ball kind of came out. It wasn't a clean spiral. You can see it's a little wobbly here, but he put it in a good spot. Yeah. In fact, if he could have gotten both hands available, that could have been caught and gone. If you're Como Park, you cannot let Sikora get behind you. He's just got such good speed. You give him enough chances, he's going to make that play. Now you got to think about getting the 1st down, at 3rd and 10.
Pongsack throwing over the middle and too high for Kinney. And it will bring up 4th down, and I suspect they'll probably have to go for it here with this score and this time remaining, even though it's, 4th and 10 on your own 30. I don't think punting here is probably the move to make. Yeah, Pongsack will stay in there.
Yeah, last couple of passes from Pongsack have just sailed a little bit high. He's had guys open, just the ball a little bit over their heads.
Well, pretty big play in the game right here. If BC can convert it, they're still alive, but going to be tough if they don't. Oh, and it's a snap that gets away. Pongsack throwing it complete to Sikora. And
what a tackle.
He is going to be stopped short of the 1st down, and it will be Como taking over on downs. I like the idea to give him space to run, but just a nice tackle.
Yeah, nice job, too, by Pongsack just to salvage that play. I'll tell you what, Johnson, one of the few times tonight we've seen a one-on-one tackle in space on Sikora. That is not easy to do. That might have been the play of the game there to get that stop. I thought once Sikora got it, I thought for sure he'd make a guy miss and get that 1st down.
Well, hindsight's 20/20, but I kind of would have liked to see that play on either 2nd or 3rd down or whatever. And then you maybe got 3rd or 4th and short, and you have a lot more options. But give credit to Johnson there because that
was a great play.
Yeah, the play design and the play call were good. It just more often than not, Sikora beats that guy, and that time Johnson won the battle. And they're going to throw here on 1st down out to Rain. Rain will have some room to run here. Centaurs trying to dig at the football, but it's going to be a long gainer. I'm sure they were expecting run like I was there.
Well, they've identified that I think Brooklyn Center playing so far off in coverage that they got that easy throw, and this time they had 2 wide receivers downfield blocking.
And Johnson was sure not to hold this time either because it was kind of
same
similar.
Play we saw. Go for a big game, but called back because of a hold.
So they've got it at the 14-yard line now of Brooklyn Center. We'll tick under 8 minutes to go here. Como, if they can punch it in here, I think you could safely say going to be playing Saturday. Brooklyn Center needs something big. Turnover obviously would be ideal here. Timeout's going to be taken.
I heard the yell. I couldn't. I think it was coming from Brooklyn Center.
Yep.
Yeah.
They may not have had 11 out there. I thought maybe it was Como because we had to be getting close on the play clock. I think they were. It looks like they're now, wisely so, trying to
snap
use
it with
all
2
of it.
seconds left.
Right,
Yep.
and you've got a senior quarterback in there that's you said there is no actual play clock on the field, but if you watch that back judge, they start to
give you
signal.
a hand signal. Yep.
Yeah, so an experienced quarterback you trust to kind of watch
that
and
yep.
do that. So here we go from the 14, first down. Fake it to a Gary. They're going to throw, and incomplete as it was behind DePaul. That one could have and should have been a touchdown for the Cougars.
Well, great play call. I think everyone thought the run was coming for sure, and you could see Brooklyn Center sold out on the run. Nice play fake. And I think on that one, Jude Breen, if he could have that one back, kind of rushed it a little bit. And he had Caleb DePaul wide open, and right down the seam. When you get those linebackers coming up like that, you got a big gap of space there in the middle of the field.
And I'm sure the old coordinator's saying,
I had
we
it.
did it.
Yeah.
That was a perfect call. You got to execute that, though.
Well, how about them being aggressive on this drive with a couple of passes?
Gary taking the handoff here. He has plenty of room to run. And let's see, he'll be down close to the goal line. And it will be a touchdown for the Cougars.
Poor signals by the referees down by the goal line tonight.
Yeah, I was watching the far one.
He never even made a signal, but that was definitely a touchdown. Nice drive, 2 big passes. Went for the home run on the pass, that time setting it up for a Gary. Again, look at how well this is blocked, Jay, to that left side. There is no contact until the 4-yard line, and we've seen that number before where he just finishes the run off. Watch him lower his shoulder and bam, getting that extra yard or 2 into the end zone.
Go for 2 again here. Bennett weaving his way forward. Let's see if he gets in. Yes, he will be over the goal line. 2-point conversion is good.
That's a nifty little footwork by Bennett that time in the backfield, and then cut it up the field and got that 2-point. They've been pretty successful tonight on those 2-point conversions. Watch this little footwork right there. Nice little stop coming back to his right, and then it becomes that rugby skirmish where you get the lineman pushing. And yeah, think about how different if that punt return had counted. It would have been a 1-score game with a lot of pressure on Como Park's offense. Instead, they end up getting a stop and punching it in here to go up by 24. Well, if I'm Como Park too, Jay, I'm not kicking it deep to Sikora. I want to avoid. I'm squibbing this right down the middle here.
Perryman will kick it off. Yeah, I agree. Why give them that opportunity to have a game breaker like that? Get it. Going to drive it toward the sideline. Nicely fielded.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty good return out close to the 45. As some pretty good hands there by Dillard Shannon, huh? That was a hot shot.
Not only that, but you see him run hard like that too, finishing the run off. That was nice. You give up, you sacrifice a little field position, but you hopefully take away the chance. Because you feel like whenever Sikora gets it, there's a chance he could make all 11 guys miss and score.
Centaurs have it at their 45 now. 7:10 to play, but they're now down 38-14 after Como was able to finish that drive. Pongsack looking, fires, and incomplete. Pretty well thrown ball, but just Omar Jackson couldn't quite squeeze it. out in front of him a little bit. It's kind of like a backhand. That's not quite as easy as it maybe first looks, but.
No, but that's where you got to help your young quarterback out and make those kind of catches.
Be a 2nd down and 10 for the Centaurs. Firing over the middle and too low as he threw it for Kinney. He had been having trouble with high throws. I think probably mentally Pongsack was thinking, I got to keep this ball down a little bit, and that time too low, or about knee level or a little below.
Well, and it's tricky too when you're throwing in those slants across the middle of the field. If that ball sails, it can lead to an interception pretty easily. That if you are going to miss, you do want to miss it low, but at this point, you're not worried about missing. You gotta hit those ones. And Kinney had a nice little seam route right up the middle, just a little underthrown.
So a 3rd and 10 now for Brooklyn Center. Fire it out to Powell, and he goes backward, and Perryman brings him down. It'll be a loss of about 5 or so on the play. Trying to make something happen, but there was just too many bodies over there. Even if he had broken this first tackle there, he wasn't really going to go anywhere.
Yeah, and number one, you went to the short field. And number two, you got to think with Kinney and Sikora on the other side of the field, you go that way, but loss of 5.
So 4th and 15 now for Brooklyn Center. And the last gasp here a little bit, if you will, down almost halfway through this 4th quarter and down 38-14. Pongsack's going to launch it, and that one will be in the middle of everyone. So Como will take over on downs here as Centaur is unable to get anything going on that possession.
Yeah, I think that one might have slipped out of his hand when he released it.
Yeah, I don't think he was trying to throw over the middle there. It didn't seem like, did it? That's not where any receivers were, but.
Well, and that's where when you're coaching a young quarterback, you're going to see the ball, watch it come out of his hands kind of different there. He's got the talent. He's got the size. He's had a couple of great throws. That's where you got to keep him positive because he's got a chance to be a really good quarterback. You know, he's going to lose a couple of these weapons that he has, but he also some young guys coming up with him. But he's shown enough where I think there's no doubt he can be a heck of a high school quarterback.
So Cougars will try and eat some clock here, leading at 38-14, or will they throw it again like they did last time? Really surprised us. Ooh, and the ball's bobbled, and paying the price was Jude Breen. Not what they wanted on first down.
How about Max Stingley in that backfield in about a half a second? He fired off the ball and got back there. You're going to see him. That ball's on the ground, and right there is Stingley. And I'll tell you what, if Breen doesn't recover that quickly, that might have been a turnover.
Stiles comes out of the lineup for the Cougars this time, and Takarian Parr, freshman running back, coming in. Kind of get the feeling that they're, Gary and Bennett maybe have gotten a little bit dinged up, and they'd like to not have to use them the rest of the night, but then you're putting in some young guys. Ooh, paid the price right there. Gibson, I didn't like the odds that Gibson was going to be back in the game, but he apparently is doing okay because he came through and just blasted him.
Just great penetration.
So it will be 3rd and 20 now for Como Park. I mean, they're far enough ahead. That's probably not going to hurt them, but not really the kind of drive that they were looking for here, obviously.
Yeah, you want to try to get a couple first downs so you can keep that clock going. And if you do end up not scoring, at least you don't leave any time on the clock.
Here's Bennett taking the handoff.
Oh, good.
Bennett breaks through a wave of tacklers trying to run Kinney over. Kinney is able to get him down to the ground. It'll leave him with 4th and about 5. Bennett had a little head of steam going there, and it was like, look out below. Watch him get through this little group of, I think it was 3 tacklers right about there, just kind of.
Almost kind of paused, and the defender ran right by, able to get some extra yards, and you set up a 4th and much more manageable there after a big gain.
4th and 5 for the Cougars. We're under 4 minutes to go. You know, chewing up time and keeping the ball has been their biggest weapon on this drive. Even if they don't do anything here, they've succeeded a little bit in that regard. Gonna go back to Bennett and see if he can get it, and he will. Good blocking, and Bennett is dragged down as he'll pick up the first down with ease inside the 25. Gets about a 12-yard gainer.
Well, they've had success when they kind of break that run to the outside. We saw the touchdown run for Gary last time. This time, Bennett goes to the left, and just, again, no one touching him until he's 5-6 yards down the field. And he's limping off the field. You can see Bennett.
Yeah, again, I don't think they wanted to use him anymore, but then they've kind of felt like things weren't going too well with their young small backs in at the beginning of that drive, so they got him a couple nice gainers, and then he's able to come back out. Oof, and
it's amazing what a difference it makes, though, isn't it?
Stingley coming in and just blasting the back par.
Yeah, when you're not worried about the physicality or the size, you can just unload on the running back. So definitely a difference when they take a Gary and Bennett out of the game.
The coaches and even their other teammates got to be saying, we need to block better for our young small guy, not worse.
The other guys don't need your blocking as much. Yeah.
Oh, another handoff here, and I gotta be honest, I feel bad for Parr. I mean, he seems a little small to be playing in a varsity game, to be honest.
No, he's limping off the field.
Showed some good fight there, but boy, did he pay the price. Thrown down.
Byron Hawkins coming up and finishing that one off.
Yeah. Under 2 minutes to go here, though, as the Cougars going to put the finishing touches on a win, and their reward will be to take on the Fridley Tigers, who pasted them pretty good in the regular season.
I'll tell you, if they can play like they did tonight and run the football that effectively. Oh, good hit. Oh.
Stingley meeting Styles there, and it'll be another loss as they continue to go backward.
Well, you love the fight. Brooklyn Center's, I mean, they're still playing hard, knowing that this game is probably obviously out of doubt, but nice form tackle. I'll tell you, Stingley's been pretty good defensively. Gibson's made a couple of nice plays. Sikora's had some nice tackles. They've done a number of good things. They just couldn't consistently stop the run tonight. And I think, too, you give a lot of credit to Jude Breen. He's been pretty effective in passing as well. Just a nice balanced effort tonight by Como.
Styles takes the handoff here and keeps going. He'll be stopped short of the first down by a long shot, but Brooklyn Center will take over on downs with 43.7 to go in the game here. Going to be win number 4 this season for Como.
Yeah, pretty impressive. I think you and I kind of coming into the game thinking that Brooklyn Center might, have the edge here. They're at home. They've had a little bit better season. Offensively, certainly looked a little bit more potent, but, coming on the road and the way Como Park came out of the gate, the way they run the football, how physical they play, they had a good all-around game tonight. They earned this win. They looked impressive doing it as well.
And getting some of their second-team guys in there and the older guys cheering them on here as
that's awesome.
We get ready for this drive here. BC will start at their 27. Como used a timeout. I think it was mostly because they didn't have 11 on the field, and something you kind of take for granted at the really big schools that you have like a set second unit.
Yeah,
well, you don't necessarily have that.
You're plugging different people in different spots, so yeah, it's not as.
Gets the handoff out to Sikora eventually. Sikora picking his way up the sideline.
He doesn't want to go out of bounds.
And he'll be stopped at the 40 after a gain of 13.
You just love the fight with that guy. You can tell he doesn't want to give up and go out of bounds. He's a senior. He wants to make every last touch count.
So new set of downs for BC here. Pongsack will toss it. Sikora is going to throw it deep downfield, and it's going to be picked off. Intercepted there by Antoine Williams for the Cougars. And Sikora comes up to wrap him up. So Sikora throwing deep downfield, not a bad idea, but it just was an awful long throw to try and make and couldn't quite get it there.
Yeah, great idea. Yeah, that's a tough throw. You haven't warmed up all night, and pretty good coverage too by Williams staying down the field.
And Kinney was just breaking behind him, but it's a little kind of a big ask for a running back to thread it in there at that point.
But again, you love the play call, you love the fight. They're playing until the very end, and as a coach, win or lose, that's all you can ever ask for is maximum effort all the way to the finish line.
So Cougars here will take a knee, and they'll be able to celebrate a W here on the road, a playoff win over Brooklyn Center. And again, they will be back over in this general vicinity and across the river in Fridley to take on the top seed Fridley on Saturday. So Como with an impressive showing on the road. They win it 38-14. Thanks to both coaches for their help, and congratulations to the Cougars as they advance here in the playoffs. Again, your final is 38-14, St. Paul Como Park. For Ryan Iverson, Allie Mosley, and all of our CCX crew, I'm Jay Wilcox. Good night from Brooklyn Center.